Hey everyone, welcome to Friday Night Live with your hosts Ben and Rob. You know, it's October and Halloween time means metaphysical mysteries of all sorts.
Yeah. Let's take sunken continents like Zelandia are being confirmed. Ever heard of that?
Curses of old seem to have affected major events in history.
Ever heard about the exhumed body of Tamerlane's tomb during World War II?
And why did 10 days suddenly disappear from the calendar in 1582?
Are dragonflies both apex predators and humanity's secret helpers?
Well, with strange historical accounts, weirder news, a live Q&A, and more, this Friday Night Live from Edge of Wonder will unravel the truth. So we'll see you out
On the edge. Hey, how's everyone doing? How are
Good.
you doing?
Well, and hey, if you're out there listening to the Edge of Wonder podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or elsewhere, leave us a 5-star rating and review to help us reach even more people. And remember to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, Ganjing World, Twitter, Facebook, in heaven, wherever you are. Ben, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Rob? So you were telling me that you have a story, something about a bee.
No, it was worse than bees. Yellow jackets are a lot more aggressive than bees, and
They are.
they sting in swarms, apparently, that I learned today. So here I am. I'm outside. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna get ahead of these leaves that are starting to fall and blowing stuff around. And I don't know if you knew this, but yellow jackets don't necessarily create those beautiful like honeycomb beehives that are hanging from trees or in bushes.
Mm-hmm.
They're full on in the ground. So I'm blowing, and all of a sudden I feel something on my hand, and I look down, and there is a swarm of yellow jackets all over me.
Dude, that's nuts.
So it starts to sting my hand, and I kind of dropped the blower and I smacked it, and then I just sprinted. I sprinted for the garage, right? So I get to the garage, I put the blower down, and I'm like, I'm going inside, and then I get inside, I go into the kitchen, and there's 4 yellow jackets on me, still trying to sting me through my jeans.
Wow.
And on my t-shirt. So I'm like, oh crap. I'm like yelling. I'm like trying to get them off of me. They're falling on the ground, and then they're going straight for the window to try to escape the house. And I'm like, man, I can't really do anything about this. Like, I'm gonna have to kill these guys because like they're gonna sting again if I don't. So so I keep finding them all over me. They're like, dude, they were all up and down my leg, and one of them stung my leg. I got stung on the neck. I got stung on my hand, and then this is the best part. I'm like, okay, they're all taken care of. Like, they're dead. I threw them out, whatever. And then I start like my jeans are still on. I sit down on my jeans, and the stingers are in my jeans, and they're hitting me in different parts of the ass. Yeah. And so it was just like, I was like, man. And you know what's crazy is, if I seem a little intense right now, it's because bee venom has it's like injecting yourself with like 6 Red Bulls.
Yeah, it can be.
So I'm just like pumped right now, but I'm also in pain.
It's like, oh, shoot you up with some adrenaline right
Yeah,
now.
right, exactly. So this is cool. So before we were it's actually my birthday tomorrow, and I was like, well, how about that? I just burned off some karma right before my birthday. That's nice. That's a nice little birthday present. I'll take that. And so we were kind of talking about this on the chat before the show on rise.tv, and Gemini Moon said, ouch, Rob, I got stung by 14 yellow jackets when I was a kid at one time on an old swing set. Lindsay said, wow, did you have to go to the hospital? She said, yes. All I remember is screaming bloody murder and my mom running over to get me and the ride to the hospital. She was 9. And she said she never got near those swings again.
You know what? I don't know what I got stung by, but it might have been a yellow jacket. When I was probably somewhere between 8 to 12 years old, somewhere around there. And I was outside and I was standing next to my cousin, and I'm just standing there, and he's talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, I got this like intense, crazy pain in my hand. I got stung by something, and it hurt so bad. All I did was just run around the house like 4 times. I just screaming.
That's great.
And literally, it left a scar on my hand for like probably 15 years. I had it looked like a freckle, but it was actually it was a sting bite. And it just like I remember the whole day I was just in tears crying. So I don't know what the heck stung me, but yeah, those things can really hurt.
Yeah, it feels like kind of, well, bees are, I got stung by a bee once and it felt like an electric shock throughout my entire body. It must have got me at an acupoint or something. I swear.
Yeah, that probably did.
It was like
you mean like a regular bee?
Yeah, I think it was a regular bee, and I just got, and it was like, blah, my whole body was like, you know, it felt like getting electrocuted. It was really, really interesting.
That's crazy. Yeah, it must have just stung you like right at the right. I pulled one out of my neck one time. I didn't know. I felt this pain. I'm like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden I realized I had like a bee in my hand, and I pulled it out, and I was like, eh. So that's crazy.
Yeah, you know, I kind of feel like I'd be the ideal person to run into battle with, because I have a feeling like no matter how bad it would be, like how many things happen to me, I would probably just be like, well, you know, you pull your sword out with the hand you still have and just throw it at the bad guy and laugh about whatever it was, you know, like, what are you going to do?
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
But anyway, hey, Dave, screw the Cabal Earl. Been with you from the beginning. Great job. Love ya. And Lindsay has a cute voice. $50 donation there. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for your support.
Tis scratch. All right, where do we want to start?
Looks like we need to start at Sasquatch.
Okay, well, because there's like a bunch of funny. We have like a lot of stuff to get into today. So, all right, well, yeah, this Sasquatch. This is a dude that literally dresses up as like Bigfoot, but he plays the saxophone and he goes on tour. I can't believe this. So it's sold out tour. Can you believe that? I guess this dude is really popular, but you can.
That's not fair. I want to go.
I think he's coming to Florida. I can't imagine like. I wonder if he cracks.
He's good. Why is he? Is this a Christmas song? Oh, take me home. Okay, I thought it was something else. That's Country Road. Okay, that's enough. You can only take so much saxophone. If it is a Sasquatch.
I can't imagine having a whole concert of this.
No, dude, like the only thing getting there is Sasquatch. I couldn't do it.
By the way, this is not sponsored. We just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, no, totally not sponsored. But yeah, and all I know is
should be sponsored.
He's coming to Cleveland too.
What's Sasquatch really thinking? Not having a sponsor him. That's the question.
So true. All right, I think you or Lindsay found this next thing. I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know what is going on here. Don't try this at home. Man tells off a bear.
Yeah. It's loading, you guys.
Oh man.
I think I've seen this clip, and yeah, that bear just didn't have anything on this guy.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen this too now.
I got a video of this. Thank you.
Just like
the bear's upset. And he just a little swipe real quick because he's upset at him.
It's like, no.
Just move.
The bear's like, dude, I just want to chill here with you guys, and you're trying to kick me out.
Crazy is that guy didn't back down at all.
No, he didn't.
He didn't even start running, and the bear just listened.
Damn.
Watch the bear swipe. The bear's like,
oh wow. Dude, I mean, that guy is like lucky the bear just didn't attack him. There was a couple that just got mauled by a bear and they died.
I think he's thinking like, if I don't do this, everybody's dead.
Yeah. Damn, dude, that's crazy.
So okay, so this video is actually longer than the one we just showed you guys at home. Like he kind of leads the bear through this entire area where they're like eating or whatever, and then the bear swipes at him and kind of keeps going, and then he lifts up his shirt and you can see like really kind of deep scratches. Like they didn't really go too deep, but it was like it was a swipe. Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
Secret rooms built in a home. This is pretty cool. Check this out.
This is a tour of all the secret rooms I built in my house in case a robber ever tries to break in.
Oh, wow.
So if he manages to get past this painting at the end of the hallway, that's honestly no problem because I also built a secret mirror. This one's actually pretty cool because once you walk inside, you have your own little cubby to hang out in, and you can literally see the entire room from inside the mirror. I even tested it on my girlfriend.
Crazy.
It's kind of funny. She had no idea I was here. I even planned out a robbery scenario where I told my cousin to come in and try to find me, and I was easily able to get them before they got me. Now, just in case the robber that's robbing my house gets super thirsty from robbing my house, I actually built a secret room behind my fridge. It's actually pretty cool. I can see everything that's going on inside of the fridge.
That's insane.
I again tested it out on my girlfriend. She was very happy.
Dude, that
now,
is
worst comes to worst, and I have to go mobile. I actually built this secret bush with a little go-kart attached to it, so I can pretty much drive it wherever I want around my woods. The only thing I'm kind of realizing now is if you're a robber and you're watching this TikTok, maybe just keep this between us. Yeah. This is a tour of all the secret rooms I built in my house.
Go viral.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel inspired by that.
That is really, it makes me want to like build a little compartment behind my fridge.
I think I'm gonna.
Okay, so I found this. This is totally crazy. This is from the 70s. See, I don't know if you know this guy's name, Adriano
Celentano.
Clinitano?
Celentano.
Celentano. Oh, you said it. Okay. Dad, do you know who that is? Most Italians probably might know. I don't know. Anyway, this dude had a hit song in Italy in the 70s.
Are you sure this isn't the 90s?
Well, this is from the 70s, but it was in the style of American song. Just listen to it. Play a little bit of this, Lindsay. It's okay. You can play it. No, like play. We gotta hear it. It's okay. We can play this thing. Just play a little bit.
I didn't know it was muted. Sorry.
Yeah. You got to hear this thing. So if you can't understand what he's saying,
what is he saying?
He's not speaking English. He's not speaking. He wrote a song. He didn't know how to speak English, so he wrote a song that sounds like English.
It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. It's just pure gibberish. He just wrote a song, tried to make it sound like English. I can't even pronounce the name of the song. It's that P word right there. You want to try to take a stab at it?
Prison colon summer console.
I have no idea.
Like, yeah, how do you pronounce it?
I couldn't believe this. He was like, he was kind of like, well, American songs are really popular. Let me write one too.
Wow.
He just made up words.
Everybody was so into it there too. Like, yeah. Girls were totally rocking out.
And when you're listening to it, you're actually like trying to pay attention. Like,
what
it sounds like,
you know,
and he sounds like I'm just not hearing it correctly. Like, what's he saying right there? But then, like, you realize he's not saying anything.
He does sound like a singer from the 70s too.
And I guess, yeah, someone wrote in the comments, all of Italy thought it was real English at the time when he made this song.
He's going around performing. He made this language up for his song, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So
So next,
insane.
are we going to pull up the 10 days that vanished? Okay. So
Yeah.
check this out. Let's watch this first because this has been going around everywhere. Check this out.
Buddy, explain this.
Okay, now he's going back in time. Watch the dates, right?
Go to the month of October in the year 1582. Just wait.
Just wait. These videos.
Here it is. Ready?
Oh, dude.
Boom. There's a week missing. Like,
wait, in October.
Did they just skip 10 days, or was it a glitch in the Matrix?
Oh, so it's October 4th to the 15th.
Yeah.
Can somebody explain?
Okay.
That's weird.
Okay, so everyone's like, "Is this a glitch in the Matrix?" But actually, there is an explanation for this. So the Julian calendar was 11 minutes and 14 seconds longer than the time it takes the sun to return to the same position as seen from the Earth. The result was that the calendar drifted about 1 day for every 314 years.
Mm-hmm.
This meant Easter's date was hard to calculate, but the Council of Nicaea, which is when all of that stuff went down, right?
Oh, yeah.
In 325 decreed should fall on the first Sunday following the first full moon after the vernal equinox, which at the time fell on March 21st. So the growing discrepancy between the date set by the council and the actual vernal equinox created this problem. Pope Gregory, the 13th, he signed a papal bull in February 1582, promulgating the reformed calendar, the Gregorian calendar. Okay, and now in October of 1582, 10 days were dropped from the calendar to bring the vernal equinox from March 11th back to March 21st. The council chose October to avoid skipping any major Christian festivals. The problem was they skipped my birthday, Ben, in 1582.
Yeah, they did. That's yeah. I didn't know about this, actually. This is very well, and the whole Council of Nicaea. Oh my gosh, it's such a massive rabbit hole for what they did in that council.
That is scary. We could do a series on that.
Yeah, we did talk about it on a few of our episodes. Right. I can't remember which ones. Maybe it was the I don't remember which ones actually, but I know we did cover it in a lot. I mean, that's essentially when they're deciding.
We were talking about paganism and basically how they merged in pagan ideas with the Christian.
Yep.
Might have been. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the other aspect is like, we don't really know what they added and what they changed. They were picking and selecting what went into the Bible during that time and took out certain things. And it was, Is this when we did it?
I think it might be this episode, but either way, that thumbnail's too good not to show.
That thumbnail is
on point. There.
Insane. Oh, by the way, I think I have my Halloween costume, and you guys are gonna really like it.
Oh, really?
That reminded me. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for teasing that.
No problem. Yeah. So anyway, this is, I mean, there's so much that, man, the whole calendar is really a massive rabbit hole in itself. From like switching over, because then around the same time, you still had the, like the Chinese that still have the lunar calendars that they were still following during that time and whatnot. But, so all extremely interesting.
Like I can feel it in the air. It's that time, isn't it?
Oh,
it's the Mandela effect.
At the Mandela effect, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh wait, looks like we're gonna.
We're gonna show a trailer, and we get back. We'll get into the Mandela effect.
Sounds good.
Who was the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run? The Cleveland Torso murders are some of the most gruesome killings that have ever taken place in America. Some believe it was worse than Jack the Ripper's crimes.
On September 5th, 1934, this small, forsaken neighborhood that probably would have faded away into oblivion etched its name in history.
And the weird part is that there were very suspicious circumstances revolving around the suspects, which adds even more mystery to these horrible crimes.
Little did they know at the time that this would end up becoming the biggest investigation in the Cleveland Police Department's history.
Because this is an Edge of Wonder Halloween special, and I promise we'll try to make you laugh through this dark topic.
Hey Ben,
Yes.
what's better than Halloween?
Candy?
No, true crime.
True
on
crime.
Halloween.
Okay. There you go.
True crime on Halloween.
Yeah.
Tell us about that torso.
Yeah, you guys. So this is an awesome episode. We really dived into what happened at the Cleveland Torso murders, and it all came about because my brother asked me about if I knew about it, and I said no. And literally everyone I'm asking, including people who live in Cleveland, Ohio, that I know, no one heard about it. I was so dumbfounded. And the more I kept researching it, the more I'm like, dude, this is huge. Like, this is massive. And like, not many people knew about it. I was really surprised. So, and then I was like, this would be a really cool episode to do. And originally I was just kind of going to do it like kind of in passing. But then as I started writing it and researching it and everything, I was like, whoa, there's a lot to this. So yeah, so we have our whole Halloween edition special out right now. So we have the torso, and then each Thursday of the whole month of October, we're dropping a Halloween episode. So next week it will all be about weird hauntings, including like the Stanley Hotel, strange disappearances, and a note and a tombstone from beyond. So
we've also got a couple of exclusive Metaphysical episodes just for Rise.tv subscribers. One of them is on the Ohio Melonheads, which is a super bizarre, creepy story, perfect for Halloween. And the other is about the Dudleytown Dark Entry Forest and the crazy hauntings, I guess you could say, that go on there, have gone on there. It's a very, very interesting short series for you guys, so hope you enjoy all of that.
And those will come out next week.
Yeah,
cool, nice.
Well,
all right,
play that transition, Lindsay. This transition is too good.
Yeah, it is. It's really awesome. All right, so now we're on to the Mandela effect. So this one, I guess, it is, a lot of people kind of know about it, but I found some new like evidence, I guess you could say, or residual
new
effects.
evidence.
Yeah. So like eurythmics, right? Like Sweet Dreams, is it made of this or made of these? And there's a lot of like,
well, I mean, when what's her name, the short-haired, red-haired chick, what's her name?
Oh my God, Annie Lennox. Yeah,
dang it was Sweet Dreams are made of these, but she's British, so could she have been saying this and it sounded like these because she's British? Maybe.
Well, she's now saying this for sure, which is weird because it doesn't, because like disagree and these sounds better than this and disagree, which makes more sense, having like these and then you're ending it with disagree. So this is them live, I mean, you could, yeah, anyway.
Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I?
She's definitely saying this there.
Yeah, this with disagree.
What'd you say, Rob?
These rhymes with disagree.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, right?
This does not rhyme with it. That doesn't make
no, that's what doesn't make any sense. Now, if you're saying Sweet Dreams Are Made of This, then it actually makes a little bit more sense than like Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, which is like, what exactly is these? And it's like this. Okay, well, we'll get into what this is. But yeah, it doesn't really rhyme. But so Marilyn Manson, you know, of course, did the cover song. Well, there's some interesting things that I found related to this. Now, I didn't really want to show like the Manson video, but this one is live and you can't really see him. So it's like, but you can definitely hear him saying these. So he's definitely saying these there. And in the Guitar World, so I found a Guitar World magazine from 1994, and I used to get these. They had like all the tabs to play guitar and everything else. And on this photo, that has the image in it, Lindsay, if you want to pull the first one up. This one's from 1994, and it has the lyrics in it, and it says these in the lyrics. Can you like zoom in? Is it possible? Yeah. So this is from the Marilyn Manson, like how to play the guitar. And it says Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. But from 1996, so they republished it again. It was either 96 or 98. I'm not sure. If you want to bring up the next image, Lindsay. Can you zoom in? They changed it to this.
What?
They also have a typo, so could that be a typo as well? Maiden of this?
Maiden of this. So yeah, that obviously you can't really.
Dreams are maiden of this.
That's so weird. But yeah, the first one with these. And so you know, and this one I think was one of the first, like, I guess you could say, like, quote unquote, like, you know, residual or residue effects, you know, because everyone was talking about this. What were you gonna say?
I said the remnants.
Yeah, remnants of it. Yeah. And you know what's really interesting related to the Mandela effect as a whole? So CNN just published an article last week. The Mandela effect describes the false memories many of us share, but why can't scientists explain it?
Nah, it's making fun of scientists.
Yeah, it's really interesting because they get into the psychological phenomenon. They do admit, like, oh yeah, like we, you know, it's this way, but it's clearly not this way, you know, and they actually get into like parallel worlds, and they talk about you know, Shazam and whatnot. But of course they're like, there's no movie, it doesn't exist, and everyone's just like thinking of, you know, this other movie or whatever. So
of the Shaq movie.
Yeah, they even bring in CERN in it though. They even talk about like the conspiracy is
and doing.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense for them to report on this.
It's just
Maybe,
because
are they just clickbaiting?
I think it's a couple things. I think maybe one, they're trying to get maybe like a younger crowd to read this, because right now the Mandela effect is huge. I'm on forums like on Reddit and Facebook. Dude, some of these have like hundreds of thousands of people in these things.
You should have your own forum called the Mandela effect.
Yeah, actually, I probably should.
You really should. I'm kind of disappointed in you.
Okay,
you got to do that.
All right, I'll do that. That would be cool. There's so many of these that we've done now. So,
well, I think it's time for
the Metaphysical Minute.
Metaphysical Minute. Load that
The strange, the paranormal, the wondrous. It's all around us.
She's playing a trailer. I don't know why she was doing that.
You know, I couldn't find the transition, and then I saw MPL, Metaphysical, and I was like, oh, okay, there it is.
Anyway, let's get on to the Metaphysical Minute. Well, anyway, so Ben, I'm not sure if you saw this, but we had a super viral video on our Metaphysical TikTok and Instagram. And TikTok, I think, got over 15 million views, and on Instagram, I think it's up to about 6 million views. So over 20 million views on this thing across TikTok and Instagram. And yesterday, we found out that Ben Shapiro stitched this video.
Yeah.
Check this out. Check out his reaction. It's pretty funny. Dog. It's named Bunny the dog. And the dog was given a bunch of buttons. If you press a series of the buttons, you can actually formulate a sentence. And the dog started to use and learn English through these buttons that it's pressing, to the point where the dog is actually having an incredible existential crisis right now, where it's looking in the mirror and it doesn't understand why it's a dog. It thinks and wants to be a human being, to the point where owner, as I guess, put Bunny, this dog, on antidepressants, because the dog will just stare in the mirror. It will constantly ask her, why dog? Why am I a dog?
Dog, why? I don't know how to answer that. Because Bunny dog.
That's weird. That's super weird. And also, I don't know how much of that is Pavlovian response. I don't know the answer to this.
What was great about this, though, is that, like, if you go through the comments on that post that he made, everyone's like, Ben Shapiro doesn't have a response for something? What's going on? They're like, you've never not had an opinion on something. And then of course, everyone's like, I love Bunny the dog and whatever. But it was just it was really funny. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, that was actually, somebody that a friend of mine in the area watches the show. He sent me this and he's like, dude, did you see this? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'll send it to Rob. So it's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I wouldn't have known that he did that unless you sent that last night.
Yeah.
And what's pretty cool is your metaphysical clips are reaching Ben Shapiro, Khloe Kardashian, like people kind of all across the spectrum are really interested in metaphysical things.
Yeah, actually, so for those of you at home that don't know, like we've had Khloe Kardashian like posts, we've had Ben Shapiro stitch them. You know, there's some famous people actually following the metaphysical Instagram account. We just need more YouTube views and followers over there for it to explode more. And yeah, it'll help the Rise TV a lot. Anyway, on to our next crazy topic, which we were talking about. We were talking about Yellow Jackets when we first started the program. But actually, we're going to do a little bit about dragonflies right now. We're going to talk a little bit about dragonflies. They're very, very strange. Have you ever looked into dragonflies, Ben?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have actually a lot. Yeah, and there is a lot to it too. We can we'll get into it like after we kind of talk about the story. There's like, in almost every culture has something representing the dragonfly, such as Chinese and Native American culture, especially has a lot. It was a very important, I guess you can say it's an insect, but they looked at it as a sense of transformation and a messenger of change. And they felt that the dragonfly it connects people to the spirit world, actually.
That's weird.
Yeah.
These things, other flies do not like dragonflies at all. Like probably the only thing the dragonfly has to be afraid of is a praying mantis, because no one F's with a praying mantis. Like praying mantises even attack people. Never mind like flies. Look, they'll attack animals. They'll eat the heads off of a mouse. Like praying mantises are super scary. But dragonflies, yeah, they are like apex predators. Mosquitoes will not get near them. We'll show a video on this shortly, but why don't we go through a couple of these stories about dragonflies first? Just because there's a lot of connections people have to these things that are kind of fascinating. Okay, so number one here is a woman we know told us this story. Her grandmother and her mother always loved dragonflies. And for the two of them, their thing together, just like talk about dragonflies and all this stuff. Well, the grandmother passed away, and of course, it was really devastating for the family. And one day after the funeral, the mom was sitting outside missing her mother when she realized a dragonfly had landed right on her shoulder. She knew it was a sign sent from her mother that she was okay and being watched over. After that, she got a dragonfly tattoo right on the spot where it had landed, and the whole experience helped her move on with her grief.
You know, well, Lindsay knows somebody that too has a really personal story, but butterflies. There's like a whole thing with butterflies for my family. Actually, like when my grandmother was obsessed with butterflies, she had probably like 200 butterfly pins, and my mom was always like, well, after she died, we're like, what are we going to do with all these pins?
Yeah.
And then my mom's like, oh, I'll just wear one. And then I'm like, dude, we should just give one to like everybody in the family. And so like everyone wore to her funeral a butterfly pin because she had so many of them. And after she died, after my grandmother died, like my mom especially saw a lot of butterflies, and she has like, I have to re-ask her the story, because there was something very specific that happened after my grandmother died that has to do with a butterfly. And but I know like she was seeing a lot of butterflies. But Lindsay, you personally know somebody that had something experience with specifically with dragonflies, right?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna play this off like it was a friend, but it was me. I'm just gonna tell it.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to say it was you or not, so I was a
little timid about it.
I'm glad that you're willing to say it's you. So you won't show your face, but at least you'll tell you the story. So.
All right. Well, I was a vegetarian, and that was kind of on and off for a while. I just really was like thinking about how am I kind of contributing to suffering in the world, and I struggled with that a bit. So I was on and off vegetarian. Then I went vegan for a while. Because I was just like, wow, I'm causing animal suffering. I might as well go all the way. If I'm going to be vegetarian, I'll be vegan. But then, I grew, my understanding changed. And I think I reached the point where I was like, well, plants are lives too. Grains and fruits and veggies are lives. And I have to be healthy for me. And this isn't to not knock anybody that's still a vegetarian or a vegan or anything. Like I really do get it. But for me, it just reached the point where I realized everything is suffering in different ways. So kind of as I reached that point, where I'm like eating other things too, I went into the bathroom and I saw there's like this little moth there on the wall. And I was like, well, I'm not going to kill it. But if I leave it in here, it's gonna like starve to death. And I'm having all these thoughts that are kind of like similar to how I was thinking about eating things. And I was like, well, I'll get a cup. I trap it against the wall. I slide a piece of paper underneath. I like put in effort to get this thing outside. So I open the door and I release the cup and the paper so it flies out. And as soon as it flies out, a dragonfly at that exact moment swoops in and grabs the moth and just flies away. And it was funny because at that time, I just like burst out laughing, and I probably also burst into tears a little bit because it was just like really funny to me how clear of a sign this was for me. To be like, everything has its time, everything has its arrangement, and no matter how much I try to influence things, I can try to be a good person, but in the end, that was its time to die. That was my understanding. And I think it really helped me to like encounter that because it was very funny. That was hilarious. And like, who knows what's next for the dragonfly, but I thought for me that was like a really interesting way that lesson was taught to me, and it was through a dragonfly.
That's pretty funny.
I think your take home from that was good. Another person could have been like, wow, dragonflies are bastards. But yours was like, this really helped me process this.
Nah, that's a cool story, Lindsay.
Okay, actually, let's play this Dragonflies Are Apex Predators video that I found, because this is actually pretty cool. This guy's funny. And the way he describes things is kind of funny. You got to check this out. It's loading. Hold on one second, guys. Yeah.
Why it's loading.
Here you go. Yep.
According to research, if you did not know this, dragonflies are like one of the deadliest predators in history. Ever. Just period. Apparently they have like a 90+% catch rate when it comes to bugs. It's a bug that has a high catch rate of bugs. That's fascinating to me. I saw a lady talk about that. Don't mind the sweat and everything. Your boy's trying to get healthy, okay? And I'm doing this after my low workout, okay? So calm down. I saw a lady that she bought a metal one like this one right here. See this little metal one, a little clip, and she puts them on her backpack or her hat, and bugs stay away from her. She's not lying.
Oh, interesting.
They're terrified of this thing. This thing, he's just next to me on the porch. I can see the band of bugs around my porch. They won't come near me. I just wanted to do a little workout before my stream today, and I carried it. I don't have to wear hats or nothing anymore. No mosquito, bug, gnat, nothing will come near me with this thing. I bought it for like $20 on Amazon. No, there's no link below. I'm just informing you of my findings as a scientist. According to research, if you did not know,
dude,
this,
I've heard about this
actually.
I forgot that. Yeah, I've heard this. That you, if you get like fake looking dragonflies and put them around, like bugs will stay away. Like that's true.
All right. So one day when I was living in one place in Texas, I'm going to my little apartment and I look down and I see a dead dragonfly, because dragonflies will just kind of like die and then they dry out kind of. But there were so many dragonflies in this area, and you know how they say everything's bigger in Texas, right? This dragonfly, Ben, was as big as my hand.
Dang,
it was as big as my hand. This big. I couldn't believe it. I took a photo of it, but the photo doesn't really do it justice, because it's like you can't really tell that it's as big as my hand. You know how that is.
Yeah, right? I know.
I could not believe how big this thing was. It was a Jurassic-sized dragonfly.
Do they just have those in Texas, or do you think it was some kind of like weird?
I saw other big dragonflies in Texas. Don't get me wrong, but nothing the size of this thing. It was the size of a small dog. It was crazy.
Dude, that's crazy. Wow. I've heard of other because lately I'm actually hearing stories lately from a lot of different people that they're seeing all kinds of like strange creatures and whatnot. And, it's like oversized things that are bigger than normal, or even like pterodactyls that we like
Thunderbird.
We had that on the show, and it's like, it could be some with all these like Mandela effects and like so much weirdness going on in the world, and like CERN doing whatever. I mean, who knows if like some portals are just kind of like, it's like Marvel movies where just like some random portal just opens up and things just coming out and coming, who knows, but that's why I'm just kind of wondering about that. So,
well, yeah, check this out. We've got some like data here on dragonflies. They eat mosquitoes 30 to hundreds per day. They don't harm humans. They're the most effective hunters in the animal kingdom, a 95% success rate compared to 25% for lions and 50% for sharks. 95% success rate.
50%.
Dragonflies have been around since before the dinosaurs. The oldest known lived more than 300 million years ago. So I mean, sorry, do I have to say this? If evolution is a thing, then how did these things not evolve out of a dragonfly state? I don't get it. How are they still dragonflies? Anyone explain that to me? All right, back to the.
That's always what I want to know too. They found, and by the way, they found fossilized rocks with these giant dragonflies in it. That's how they know that they're that old. For example,
the prehistoric ones were as big as crows with a 30-inch wingspan. Which is like, massive. Even that one that was the size of my hand was small compared to these things.
Yeah.
So they can fly up to 35 miles per hour, Ben. These things can beat you in a race on your bike. I know you have one.
I don't, but I used to.
Right. They're faster than the average hummingbird, but beat their wings almost 10 times slower than bees. They can fly backwards, loop-to-loop, and hover in place. Their wings tear apart bacteria.
That's crazy.
Billions of tiny nanostructures, fingers, are small enough to grab a bacteria and hold on. And as bacteria try to escape, they tear themselves apart, keeping the dragonfly safe and healthy. These things are badasses, dude.
Yeah, they really are. What?
This guy's running from a dragonfly, clearly.
Is that what's going on?
It's Michael Scott.
Yeah. And there was this movie in 2002. I remember seeing it it was just called Dragonfly. It was with Kevin Costner. And actually, the premise is a really awesome premise. I honestly, I can't really remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. I just remember, but the storyline is really, it's about near-death experiences. So his wife goes to like some village in, I think, South Africa or South America, one of the two, and she ends up dying there. And he starts having like some dreams about her. And there was a woman or a little girl in a hospital who like died for a little bit. And when she came back to life, and she's like talking to Kevin Costner, and she's telling him that she saw his wife and that she has this like message for him. Like she had to come back to like deliver this message from his wife. So then he ends up like having all these weird things where he feels like he needs to go where his wife dies. And so he ends up going there. Oh yeah. And she had a dragonfly, a birthmark on her arm, and she was like obsessed with dragonflies, and he starts seeing dragonflies everywhere, and he feels like they're kind of leading him down this path. I don't want to really reveal the ending because it's kind of almost like Sixth Sense.
He sees Shoeless Joe Jackson at the end. They say, if you build it, they will come, and it's all over, right?
He will come.
Yeah, that's the Mandela effect too. Sorry to go there.
It's all good.
All right, sorry, I opened that can of Mandela effect worms.
So funny. But no, anyway, it's actually like the whole premise in like spirituality and dealing with near-death experiences and maybe even past lives, like all kind of exist in this movie. The ending is kind of like a Sixth Sense kind of twist, but in a positive, uplifting way. But I don't want to reveal it. So anybody that's kind of wants to see a pretty decent movie with a good storyline, but maybe not, it's not going to be one that you're going to be like, wow, that was such an awesome movie, but there is some really cool elements into it. So
we're not entirely done with Dragonflies yet, because we've got some history and mythology, and from both, I guess you could say, Western culture, and then also from Native American culture. And this is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So in the story of St. George in Romanian folklore, the devil turned St. George's horse into a huge insect that earned Dragonflies the Romanian name for devil's horse. Since the Romanian word drac means both devil and dragon, the insect soon became Dragonfly. That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me either. So Dragonfly meaning in Native American culture. In the Native American beliefs, the dragonfly is often seen as a messenger of change and transformation, assisting individuals in recognizing their true selves and navigating life's challenges. It has a connection to the spirit world, which is what you were just telling us in Kevin Costner's movies. Native Americans believe the dragonfly can help communicate with deceased ancestors and spirits.
Right. Which is actually, so in the movie Dragonfly, it actually takes this literally. And so a lot of the elements that the Native Americans describe are in the movie. So he's seeing this dragonfly kind of representing his wife, and, she has the birthmark and whatnot. So it's really kind of interesting concept. And
yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah. And then also like embrace change is another one that for the Native American, and, they're known for, like Rob was talking about earlier, the complex flight patterns, how it can do all these things that normal bugs can't do. So for Native Americans, they looked at it as like illusion versus reality, and kind of looking at our world as like a world of like almost illusion in a way. And where it's like, to them, I think you can see like certain things in the past, certain things in the, like, and then looking ahead.
Oh, and look at their bodies are like that almost.
They're so different than any other
colors
bug.
like change. They're almost efflorescent. I don't know what to call. Is that the word for it? Lindsay's like, nope, that's not the word for it at all.
Did you say fluorescence?
It's like some strange, like luminescent or something, where it's like it's not really one color. Like it looks green.
Almost like
metallic,
shiny metallic is what it kind of looks like.
Iridescent is the word I'm looking for.
Iridescent. Yes. I'm like, okay, there is a word there. I can't think of it either.
I like efflorescence better, for the record.
Yeah, iridescent.
I
know what you're talking about. All right, we're gonna show another trailer, you guys. When we get back, we got topic on ancient
One
civilization.
more thing before we show the trailer.
Oh yeah, what's that?
I want to get your live reaction on this Instagram video of what looks like real Dragonfire. Real Dragonfire in real life. Check this out.
哎呦我去！哎呦我去！这是啥呀？这是啥呀？我的天哪！
Watch this.
Is this real? Wow.
哎我操！哎我操！
Wow, and this is from different angles. Holy cow, that seriously looks like some kind of like... Wow, dude.
Now, hey, could this be a direct energy weapon?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Or a UFO or something like that.
I watched that over a few times, and the more I watched it, the more it looked like an invisible dragon was like blazing something.
Well, it's great that it's showing it from different camera angles, so that you know it's not like CGI. But I mean that actually yeah, you could look it up, and it was like this explosion in China. But seriously,
crazy.
Maybe it is especially with the CCP there. I mean, who knows what, they could be like covering up something that they did a mistake on, or I'll just blow this thing up and call it a day.
Let's just fire the laser down into Shanghai or whatever.
Brock said direct energy dragon.
Yeah, that's probably what the name of that thing is called.
DED. That's hilarious. All right, let's show the trailer about our more of our Halloween special, and when we come back we'll get into ancient civilizations.
I assure you, vampires are just in the movies. I would swear it on my soul, if I had one. What truths are lurking in our legends? They couldn't possibly be based on a real-life monster, could they? Vlad the Impaler was not just known for his war tactics. Some say that he was also the world's first vampire, Dracula. But is it all just a batty tale? Or are the movies talking about something real? Find out in part 1 of Edge of Wonder's Halloween series, Vlad the Impaler and Dracula.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, we were talking a lot about dragonflies and St. George. In Romanian, drac actually means dragon and devil. Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, means dragon or devil.
Devil.
Right? Yeah.
Really, yeah.
And this is why Vlad the Impaler was Vlad Dracul, or Vlad the Dragon. And he was in the Order of the Dragon, and so was Elizabeth Bathory. And that episode will take you through all of that. It's pretty creepy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out on rise.tv, you guys. All right.
Ancient civilizations. Zelandia. I have to admit, this is something I didn't hear about, or I didn't even know about until this like really started coming out. Did you hear anything about this? This Zelandia?
Yeah, just recently I was researching Lemuria and the lost continent of Mu, which people confuse a lot. And then also, as I was researching that, I stumbled upon this, I guess, fact that if the waters sank 400 feet, which is about what they were before the flood, it would reveal an entire continent below New Zealand called Zealandia.
That's so insane.
It's pretty big too. Insane. I mean, it's not small.
The other aspect is like we don't even know if this could have been connected to even what is like Antarctica now, Like,
yeah, I mean, all this stuff's kind of connected, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
New Zealand is south of Australia, correct? Isn't it? Like
north. That's also Mandela effect, by the way.
I know. I can never remember. That's why.
It's south, right?
It's south of.
Yeah. I always want to say north, but it's south. I said north earlier, but it is south. Yeah. This is. I don't know if people are just misremembering it or if it really is a Mandela effect, but there's a lot of people that believe it's north. Because I was always told that Australia. I always remembered Australia being the most southern continent. Or
Well, I mean, if you could just sink the ocean just 400 feet, all of that would probably just imagine what's on there.
Yeah.
Like what? There could be a whole
Seriously.
civilization on there, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Yeah.
an ancient one.
What is the most insane about this, like really getting into this article, was the fact that this Zelandia, it says scientists believe they mapped Zelandia more thoroughly than any other continent on Earth. I don't even know how that's possible, considering that this is underwater.
This just, I feel like they're just this just sounds like they're screwing with us. Like,
I don't even know. I mean, maybe they're just like putting a bunch of focus on this. Anyway.
Like, okay, maybe that's true, but if that's true, then we should probably start paying a lot more attention to what's there, because they must be after something or some technology.
Oh my gosh, you're probably so right. Something that they found, probably like like on the continent itself, underwater. They probably found some kind of ancient remains, or maybe massive pyramid or something like that, right? And also that also shows me, okay, that means that we haven't really explored a lot of Earth, especially underwater, right? Who knows what we could find, the animals that we could probably didn't know that existed, we would find cures for cancer, strange plants that we never knew about. I mean, they're finding life in all kinds of weird places. And, recently in China, they found that massive, what was it, like a massive cave that was like underground that they didn't know about, and had a whole ecosystem and plants.
And what fossils are there? I mean, look, like Australia is weird now.
Yeah, Australia's already weird.
Koalas, like bats that are the size of foxes. I mean, like what's on Zelandia under the water?
So true. So true. They said it's 2 million square miles underwater, and it took a decades actually to map this all out. And this is, I mean, I didn't even know about this, so this is really, yeah, it's really interesting. It says it's half the size of Australia, has volcanoes, valleys, rifts, and mountains. So, okay, they said scientists believe they mapped Zealandia more thoroughly than any other continent because they mapped the surface features, but also the boundary where the continent and ocean usually meet. It's a feature that's largely unknown for other continents. Okay, so like for example, as soon as like United States ends on the beach or on the shore, it goes in the water, it's like that's it. They don't really consider that anymore like the United States land. And so I guess what they're saying is, since they were able to map out underwater, they really extended out. Like if you extend out underwater, who knows, you'd probably find land masses that extend out, including the United States or any other continent in the world. But maybe that's why they're like, we only explored like 5%, quote unquote, because I don't really believe that.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about what this means, really, because
me too.
Think about like the Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan, which, I mean, really, like that's complete evidence of the waters being 400 feet lower and there having been really ancient structures here, and no one will touch it with a 10-foot pole. Like no one will talk about that. No one will talk about all kinds of other structures found underneath the water. They stay away from the water, and yet they're researching Zelandia as if it's like a thing. So does that mean nothing is there, and that's why they're telling us about it, or does it mean that they're after something? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. There's so many interesting things like off Japan too that they found. Gosh, I mean, just everywhere underwater. I mean, you could almost look at it as like at one point, it seems like,
Ben, look at this picture.
Yeah.
Can you believe that scientists with a straight face say that lava created?
Yeah, lava created this, even though it's perfectly square cut lines in bricks that laid next to each other. Like, yeah, that was just
and then they're like, why don't people trust us? I'm like, that's why. Like that is why. Is because you show me a picture of the Yonaguni monument and with a straight face you tell me lava made that and you're an expert and I should believe you. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Dude, my 2-year-old nephew or niece could tell you that somebody must have carved that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, anybody that understands structures would be like, yeah, that's obviously carved. I mean, it's just so weird that they say these things. I don't know. And if you talk to like scuba divers, you know, they'll all say like there's all kinds of crazy things that they've encountered underwater, you know, but the ones off Japan are massive. They are so big. There's all those photos that came out like maybe a couple decades ago.
For those of you at home, if you're looking for more information on Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, even Zelandia, check out our metaphysical series on Mount Shasta and Lemuria, where we actually go through all of this stuff and we explain the confusion that people have had, all the different players that have found these things, why it's called Lemuria. You know why it's called Lemuria, right, Ben? Because they found lemurs on the west coast of Australia, on the east coast of New Caledonia, and then in India, on the bottom of India. And if you'd connect those by a continent, you'd call that continent Lemuria. That's actually why. A lot of people don't know that.
I don't know if that's the real reason.
No,
why
that
it's
is.
Lemuria.
No.
I mean the real, like, right? I mean, that's
that is historically why it got coined, the term Lemuria in the first place, is that the people studying fossils found that and decided to call it Lemuria. And then Helena Blavatsky picked it up and started promoting it everywhere. And we have a whole episode on Helena Blavatsky and what a numbskull she was. You should check that out too.
But the Lemurians, the aspects of the Lemurians, but go back further.
Well, yes, but you can't really, you wouldn't necessarily. Why?
But they may not be called Lemurians.
Why are we calling it Lemurians?
Yeah, they may have not called themselves Lemurians. You know?
Yeah, it was just it was whatever continent from any civilization, right? But like it's just landed on Lemuria for some reason, and now people think it's in the Pacific. And anyway, it's a whole big thing, whole big history.
Let's see. All right, we need to do the Tamerlane's curse.
Tamerlane's
curse. Yes.
Yeah, this is actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Now, Tamerlane reportedly shared a common ancestor with a descendant of Genghis Khan, which doesn't necessarily mean that much. I mean, Genghis Khan had like 828 kids. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it was. Is like the Khans were kind of trying to spread their seed. So on this is interesting. On June 19th, 1941, Timur's body, this guy, was exhumed. Soviet anthropologists examined his remains. He was 5'8", which was tall for the time. Timur's right thigh bone had been knitted together with his kneecap, and his knee joint looked like he kept the leg bent at all times, so he would have limped. He was broad-chested, had red hair, and a beard. So just kind of like the dwarves from Lord of the Rings. Timur's tomb, now this is where it gets really cool. Tell me if you've heard this. Timur's tomb was allegedly inscribed with a curse, though. And it was, "When I rise from the dead, the world shall tremble." Inside the casket was another note: "Whoever opens my tomb shall unleash an invader more terrible than I." Okay, so who do you think that... This is 1941.
1941, right.
Who appeared on the scene right after they exhumed his...
Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, man.
So 3 days after they raided the tomb, Hitler invaded the Soviet Union. and actually, the other weird thing is there was a specific smell. So because there was like ancient residue of like incense, I guess, like when they wrapped the body up in it. So when they opened it, there was this smell that was kind of lingering. And at first they noticed it was kind of sweet, and they also found that it was the same kind of smell when they opened up one of the pharaoh tombs, and I can't remember which one it was now.
Sweet smell. It didn't.
Yeah, they said it was like they described it as like a musty kind of sweet, like certain incense and whatnot. I mean, this is old, right? So it was just like there. So when they almost like when they opened it, this like powder dust just kind of came out in the air, and it just kind of like, and at first they thought maybe
they're gonna die of a curse.
There was like some kind of poison thing or something, or but then they're like, oh no, it's okay, blah blah blah. So then they're like, oh, everything's fine, and then 3 days later, Hitler. Don't know if that's totally related, but I mean, there's so many curses throughout history that warn people of these things. It's like, you open Pandora's box, and it's like, is it a result of this? But
you did a whole a series on curses.
Yeah, I did actually on my Ben Solo show. I did a whole thing about ancient curses from everything. Like, for example, when they opened King Tut's tomb, it was like the same thing where they're like, oh yeah, there was a curse, but whatever, and then gradually one person died, I think within a year, and then the whole team that found King Tut's tomb died fairly within years. But one of some of them got cancer from the air that was there and some other things. So I mean, I don't know. Moral of the story, I don't know if we should touch a lot of tombs. That would be my
don't disturb the dead, right?
Don't disturb the dead. Yeah. No matter how old it is, we have no idea what we're doing, honestly. Who knows? So yeah, anyway, these are all shows that I did on different curses.
Oh man, you did the doll.
Yeah, dude.
That doll is freaky. What's its name again?
Robert the Doll. And I might be they have a tour here in Florida, and I might be going to it to I don't know.
Film can you actually film during it?
You can. You actually, yes, you can. I'm still kind of they have like a special tour that you can do with so you can see Robert the Doll. I'm still kind of on the fence about it, but supposedly
you gotta go and film this.
Yeah, you just gotta have supposedly be courteous to it, and you gotta ask it if it's okay to film, and then supposedly
I think you should threaten it and drop an elbow on it. Personally, I'm kidding.
No, I know. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. So I might be going to that.
Isn't there some story about Ozzy Osbourne? Where
I was telling I don't know when it was, Tuesday or last week. Yeah. So because his son Jack actually has a podcast or a video YouTube show, and he went there, and then Ozzy came and joined him, and they were interacting with the doll, and Ozzy was making fun of the doll and saying things to it, and then soon after that, Ozzy Osbourne found out he had cancer. So he lived through it. Everything's okay. But
he regretted it, and he was
he regretted it, and he believes that it could have been as a result for his interaction with the doll.
It had nothing to do with your crazy the 60s, the 70s, the 80s of just being on stage and being totally insane.
Just being totally insane. What was it? What did he
bit the head off of something?
Yeah, he bit a head off of a live bat or something like that.
It had nothing to do with that. It was Robert the Doll.
It's everyone forgets about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ozzy Osbourne sure did some weird things. That was
yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, well,
yes.
We should probably go over to rise.tv. And before we do, you guys, we have prepared this month for you all. If you're watching this right now and you want to support our work, we have a really strong month of Halloween content coming out. We just published the Torso murders. We've got a ton more stuff. Ben, why don't you tell them what's coming out?
Yeah, so this Thursday we have more curses and strange ghost stories and vanishings that will happen all this week. So there's different stories kind of in one episode that Rob and I tell. And then we also have ghost ships of the Bermuda Triangle. So all these missing ships or crew throughout history. And then it's also like a worldwide phenomenon. So like strange vanishings, hauntings, and also there's a message from a tombstone that we get into that's like a real life story. So all of that's coming out on Rise TV all this month. So,
and not only that, but we've got some stuff on there if you're looking for classic Halloween stuff, like vampires, werewolves, like the true stories and histories of these things. We've got the true story of the Salem witch trials that really no one else has. You guys will, I mean, we just tracked down everything in history about this stuff. It's really cool. And then, of course, those crazy metaphysical episodes I was telling you about, the Ohio Melonheads, the Dudleytown Dark Entry Forest. It's just so much content here, you guys.
Ted Bundy as well, like true crime stuff, like all this Halloween content. I mean, we've been doing the show for like 5 years now. So, I mean, we have so much Halloween content that every Halloween we're like, oh, let's do some stuff. So
I don't mean to be like arrogant. It's not like that, but I really feel like no one really tracked these things down like we did.
Yeah,
no one really
I
tracked
definitely
these stories
agree.
down the way that we did.
Yeah, I mean, we spent so long like on the research side of things, and specifically, you know, looking for things that other people didn't come to the conclusions to or find. You know, like we really, Rob and I just really dove into these things to really pull what we can out. And it's like, okay, here's a story that everyone knows, but we're going to come at it from a different angle and present information that you guys don't know. So that was kind of the whole inspiration for a lot of the Halloween specials that we were doing. Everything from, and then we were finding like strange things throughout history too. For example, there's like some really insane things about some supposed vampires that like people in the town would bury people a very specific way. Like one person, he was buried with like a silver stake or something, you know, in the chest. So in other words, if like a person was trying to rise from the dead, it was like the silver stake or whatever was like in the chest, and it wouldn't even. You know. So I can't remember. That was in the U.S. actually. So there's other stories about that. So
yeah, and that stuff was happening all over Europe too for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys, it's only $9.99 a month, which is like, honestly, I mean, probably a cup and a half of coffee from Starbucks now. That's how expensive it is. Our prices have not gone up. But like, you'll have a ball with your friends and family if you subscribe to us. It'll really help us a lot. Support our work. We'll be able to create more of this content for you guys. And yeah, I mean, thanks so much for being with us tonight. And do you have anything else to add, Ben? We'll just head over to Rise TV and do.
All right, head over to Rise TV. We're going to get into your questions, to a live Q&A, of course. And we have our top 10 weirder news of the week, and we have some really good ones, some Halloween related ones too. Everything from a Chucky terrorizing a Alabama neighborhood to the glow in the dark engineered petunias. Petunias, yeah. What? And a mermaid puppy. So
oh yeah, okay, awesome. Well, you guys stick around.
Real mermaid puppy, by the way.
Right. On rise.tv, we'll do a Q&A, and then we'll get into the weirder news of the week. We'll see you over there.
You've heard about cursed objects. You've heard about cursed places. What if the stories were real? King Tut's tomb, Macbeth, the Omen, the Hope Diamond. Curses have fascinated us throughout time. But what if there's more to it? Some legends are just too crazy to ignore. Join Ben Solo as he uncovers the creepy and the weirdest top curses in history. Maybe omens and jinxes aren't so superstitious after all.
Monsters of the Seas. were long thought to be myths. But some magic hunters sought power for themselves, believing that old legends held secret truths. Why did the famous occultist Aleister Crowley make his home on Loch Ness, which later became famous for its elusive creature? Why are there so many paranormal sightings in the area? What other creatures of the deep have been spotted in Scotland that are largely ignored or considered local folktales? The human mind enjoys impressive visions of unearthly creatures. Now then, the sea is precisely their best medium, the only setting suitable for the breeding and growing of such giants, next to which such land animals as elephants or rhinoceroses are mere dwarves. Find out what creatures may be a lot closer than 20,000 leagues under the sea. Join Edge of Wonder for a deep dive into the cryptids of the abyss.
What has hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail? It's the Jersey Devil, the mysterious cryptid that haunts the forests and skies of New Jersey. But this beast has a story beyond legend. Locals actually claim to be descendants of the original Jersey Devil. What unexplainable things have happened that would convince anyone this creature is lurking in the shadows? Why were Ben Franklin and Teddy Roosevelt part of the story? What kind of devilish, winged lizard beings are really hiding out in the cosmos? Are all claims of the Jersey Devil just a hoax? It's time to crack open the Edge files and pull out one of our most classified cases yet. As we ask, is this flying fiend real? Find out all about it in Tales of the Cryptids, Episode 2, The Jersey Devil. Only on edgeofwonder.tv.
Get your questions ready, because it's time for our live Q&A session exclusively on Rise.tv.